that serving on a nonprofit board can be a really magnificent experience, learning, growing, meeting new people, and sharpening the saw, really, especially if you're very busy with your own work. Um, I have found my own board experience some of the most satisfying experiences of my life. And working with a lot of boards, when they are well run, um, they can actually have a lot of fun doing good. So I'm just going to run you through really quickly the benefits to you of serving on a nonprofit board, what you may have to offer, and how you might go about getting onto one. Some of this will be really basic, so forgive me, but I thought I'd cover the basics. So benefits to you, and I know this isn't where we should start, it should be starting with the cause, but I'm talking to this particular audience, and I want to encourage people with these kinds of professional skills to think seriously about sharing those. So first of all, there's been a lot of research about why people join boards, and one of the biggest reasons is because of the other people on the board. This is just a fact. And it is true that joining boards often enables you to expand your networks, not only within influential, energetic, smart people, but also people with different experience and skills. And so it broadens your network, which can be incredibly valuable, especially as you grow in your career and start operating at a higher level. You will meet ideally peers, other professionals, community and business leaders, thought leaders, and people with lived experience. This experience on your CV can look good. It can show evidence that you are a more broad-minded person and that you are socially engaged, and that you have a broad mindset looking at your own world. In terms of the skills that you can hone or develop in the course of board service, obviously strategy and planning, risk management, crisis planning, financial oversight, legal responsibility, and quite often fundraising and advocacy. There are lots and lots of things that you can develop depending on how the board uses your skills. But one thing that is important to remember is the difference between board service, which is really oversight, and strategic thinking and volunteering. Because if you are a professional with accountancy skills or legal skills, the board may value you for that, but if you are applying them very specifically, that's more a volunteering role. And when you're on the board, it's really about the oversight and above the court looking down, fingers out, noses in is the expression a lot of people use. The other thing that's good for you is that you get recognized, and quite often that can be personally incredibly satisfying. You can bring things to the board that are not being used necessarily in your own profession. And a really important part of what you learn is board dynamics, is the working in a team to do the strategic thinking, even things like where you sit around the board table and how you relate to the other board members. A whole host of things, but I'll move on to what you have to offer. Obviously, your particular professional skills and knowledge, but very importantly, asking intelligent questions. That is the most important thing the board can do. You've got to have passion for the cause. If you don't bother, because you won't be a good board member. You will be an empty seat. And the expectations of board members will differ according to the organization, whether it's large or small, its mission, the particular challenges it faces. It might particularly value your property experience or your accounting or legal experience. It also may need more or less time from you depending on how it's structured. Another thing to consider is your background, and that is where you come from, what ethnic group you come from, your own personal perspective. A lot of boards are really specific looking at diversity, and that's not just ethnic diversity, it's age. Digital natives are rare and valuable, and every board should have some. Geography. There are a lot of London boards that have no one outside London, but it's a national charity. And your lived experience. So you may have experience of a particular condition or a challenge or a passion for a particular art that you can bring to that board. The most interesting thing to offer is your ability to think generatively, strategically. So for instance, if you're on a symphony board, you might ask, our audience is aging, how can we appeal to younger audiences? This is not getting into the specifics of marketing, but actually asking the questions and probing so that the executive come up with solutions that you can approve or help move on. So how to get onto a nonprofit board. Even now, when a lot of them are much more professional in their recruitment processes, who you know and getting into boards, talking to people is probably the most valuable thing. But there are also a lot of trustee opportunity lists. Search firms for the bigger organizations are involved. So talk to search firms, look at trustee lists of opportunities, go to the NCVO website, and initially do understand your roles and responsibilities. You can get that from the NCVO Know-How Board Basics website. There's some good stuff there. And also for any charities you want to target, contact them directly and tell them about your interest. But make sure you do your due diligence on them first. Look them up on the Charity Commission website. Find out about their background, their trustees, their financial history. And please get involved early. Don't wait until you are in your 50s. Get involved even in your 20s or 30s because boards need younger people.